All right, you guys, welcome to the listening room today. I appreciate you guys all. As always, my co host, Miss Daisy, back there, always holding it down. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining the listening room. You guys are fantastic. So, today I would like to first and foremost, before we get into anything, even before we get into the gratitude, I'd like to introduce my guest today. My guest is a good friend of mine, a wonderful musician, has been in multiple bands that I've been in. Mr. Nick Lee. Say hi to Nick Lee, guys. Good to
What's up, guys?
good
Hello.
good
How are we
good
doing?
to see you, Nick. Good to see you, my brother.
Wise?
So today we're gonna be playing a little bit of music that you and I have worked on in the past together. So everybody knows today the song that we're gonna do is called Thorns, and Nick is the one who wrote the music to these songs. Brought them to me. Nick and I have been in previous bands in the past, and Nick brought me this music, and over a period of time, essentially made me write the lyrics of this song. We got Donnie Vosberg in the house, Half Ton, Stony Steve. Hey Melly, how's it going? Kenny the Finger. He was in Half Ton with Nick and I. That's awesome. Okay, so real quick, Nick. So I didn't tell you really any much about the format of the show, but what I like to start the show off every day with something I'm grateful for, a little bit of gratitude, just like I like to start my day off. So sometimes I go back to this, and I always kind of revisit this as an affirmation. But I am so happy and grateful that I thrive in financial abundance. Now, when I say this, when I started saying this, I wasn't thriving in financial abundance. I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't, attracting wealth to myself or prosperity to myself. And I started to acknowledge it and say it because I knew it was possible. So I started to talk about living in financial abundance and feeling that I was living in financial abundance. And even in times like now, when work is scarce and things are hard for a lot of people, myself included, work is pretty much non-existent at the moment. I'm still grateful that I thrive in financial abundance because I know I do have the ability to make it happen for myself. Under the circumstances now, things are a little different, so it'll have to be a little bit different, figure it out. But I'm so happy and grateful that I thrive in financial abundance, and I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep telling myself that. You've never heard a wealthy person ever talk negatively about money. You don't hear wealthy people push that energy away from themselves. No, you don't. No, you don't. You won't. Sometimes you'll hear people. We're all programmed with this. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about money, and they say things like, oh, money's the root of all evil, or I don't know why everybody needs money so much, or it's money is a tool and a resource, and it will come to you if you call it. It's just like an energy, just like everything else. So for me today, my gratitude is that I thrive in financial abundance. So Nick, why don't you tell me one thing you're grateful for, my brother?
I'm grateful for my health,
I love that.
our friendship, board. Just knowing that eventually we're in this all together, this whole virus thing. So and we have a roof over our head. I'm still able to cook and enjoy life to
Sure.
obviously confined house, but for the most
I
part, I
love
mean,
it.
like, it's good.
You're
I'm grateful.
I love that, Nick. You're a great cook too, by the way. So I might actually be getting to enjoy a little bit of that cooking later this evening, which is awesome. So,
Yes.
but yeah, and I always like to start that off, with gratitude, just to continue to be consistent and acknowledge and celebrate the things that I'm grateful for in this life. And sometimes it's not easy to do when life is kicking you and stomping on you and having its way with you sometimes. But being active in your own mental and emotional health is one of the only ways that is possible to stay consistent and to stay feeling good and to even push through in the hard times and the rough times where things do seem like I said, be active in that mental and emotional health and push yourself into feeling better as you actually do feel better. So yeah, you guys, I invite you guys all to think about something you're grateful for, write it down, say it out loud, comment it in the comment section, acknowledge and celebrate the things you're grateful for. You guys just try and thrive in that abundance of consciousness, you guys. So, consciousness of abundance, consciousness of gratitude. So, excuse me on that one. But, okay, so I like to kind of dive like right into the songs. I don't like to spend too much time in before we get into the song. So today, let's go ahead and jump into the first song that we're going to show here, Nick. I think this might be one of the very first songs we ever wrote together, and we'll see what Miss Daisy thinks about that. Yeah, she's ready. All right, cool. So we're going to jump into this song right here. This song is called Thorns from Running Rogue. All right. And we're back. All right, Nick, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I had your audio still. Yes. Okay, so the band name, Evan, is Running Rogue, actually, and the song is called Thorns. We don't have, it's not for sale. It's not, you can't find it. But if you would like to a download of the song, you guys, go ahead and email me at the email on the screen right there, below me right there, boostproductions@yahoo.com, and I will send you a download link, free download link for Thorns, so you guys can enjoy that song. You have to point to your left, Nick. Point to your, this way. That's the way. Yeah. No, other way. So, all right, you guys are awesome. So, yeah, hey, it's good to see everybody. Ray, everybody in the house. All right, I'm loving it. You guys are awesome. So Nick came to me. So Nick has been in almost every like major band that I've ever been in. So when I was probably 18, 17, 18 years old, I was over at Donnie Vosberg's house, which is Don Vosberg in here in the section. Donald and Garrett. I was at Garrett Vosberg's house, Vision of Zion and Donnie. And I was playing a 10-foot pole song on the old Jackson, and going through the PV bass amp. And Donald ended up telling Mike Kennebeck that I could sing, and Mike called me and said, "Hey, we'll come try out for this band we got going on called Belligerent." So I showed up for the to try out for this band called Belligerent, and Nick was the guitar player. So I was sang for Belligerent for a little while, and then after that, Nick came in and out of almost every single major band I was ever been in. After that, he was in 8 Count for a little bit. I know some of you guys have heard 8 Count. He was in Half Ton for quite a while with Kenny the Finger in here as well. And yeah, so I got to play with Nick in multiple bands, and then after a while, Nick and I Nick and I have always been really good friends, and Nick had been calling me for a little while, and I had told you guys a little bit before about how I kind of fell into a depression a few years ago, and he called me kind of while I was in that kind of funk, and he was like, "Dude, let's jam, let's write some music," and I was like, "I don't really want to," and he was like, "I'm coming over," and I was like, "All right, whatever, dude." So Nick would come over to the spot and hang out for an hour or two, and he'd bring his amp and his guitar and everything. He'd plug it all in and jam, and I'd sit here. Not sing, just hang out. We just chill while he played guitar. And then finally, one day he was just like, "Dude," he was like, let's write something. You gotta get on this, So Nick bust out Thorns, and I ended up writing the lyrics to that. And then I was like, you know what, dude, this is making me feel pretty good. This is taking a pretty cool direction. It feels pretty good. So then we took off from there, and we just kind of took it from there, And Nick I think Nick's wife came up with the name Running Rogue. Is that correct, or was that am I not getting that right?
No, I don't know. I came up with it through just thinking about how we're all kind of in this life, running around, doing our thing. And what I mean our thing is like, yeah, everyone has their job, everyone has their thing, I work at this graphic place, I work at this salon, I work at whatever your job is. But everyone has something inside them that's a little bit like, deeper than that, like a secret, So I was thinking like, we haven't been music for a while. I mean, together, but we've still been doing music. So in my eyes, we've been running rogue. We've been running in kind of doing our own thing, but yet we should have been doing this. So we've been kind of out there in the shadows. You know what I mean? And that kind of like for me was, whether it was work or whatever, I still kind of had that passion, which was my little ability, my superhero-ness inside of me. You know what I mean?
I love it. So that's okay. I can dig that. So when did you write this music? Because I know some of the songs that you wrote and you brought to me were previously written. You kind of wrote them maybe a few years ago. And why don't you tell me a little bit about when you wrote this stuff?
So basically, I came up with these songs. Like, well, there weren't really. I wrote these songs out. Like, I sat here, wrote them out. It was just kind of like I had these pieces of these songs, and I didn't know that these all attached until eventually I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna try to focus in on some stuff, and everything kind of just melted together. And when I came up with this song I think it was 2016 in July. And how I know that is I sat down and recorded it on my Memos app on my iPhone.
Yeah.
super just, I got this idea. I need to just like, I need to capture it. I'm going to forget it because I've forgotten some stuff. And like this song, some of these parts came back from pieces that I just was like, oh, this sounds cool. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. You know, I'm not really in a band, but I had these things. So it's kind of like taking them off the shelf and like kind of melding them together.
Right.
That's kind of how that came together. So I use this to record it just so I don't forget it, because I always used to forget stuff. So I put them on the shelf and I'm like, oh, wait, well, I remember this. So that's what I did. And I hit you up, and I think it was 3 songs. That, Natural Order, and
Next Page.
Yes.
So I'm gonna show Next Page tomorrow, actually. So if you'd like to join me tomorrow for a little bit, I'm gonna have Kyle Romero, host of the Mind Tasting podcast, on tomorrow, talking a little bit about, you know, just the human experience, talking a little bit about the podcast. We're going to go over Next Page tomorrow as well. So if you'd like to join us on the next couple of days, we're going to be going over some of the Running Rogue stuff that you and I have recorded previously. So might have Rob Wheeler on, might have Kevin Kablau on, some of the other guys from our band. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So it's really good to see you, my buddy. It's good to see you on here. It's good to have you on the show. Absolutely, and good to talk to you, you know, and kind of revisit some of the stuff about how and why we connected in the first place, you know, how our paths aligned, you know, and when we first started playing music together, in the first couple bands we played with, it was punk rock, you know, and then it was a little bit metalish, you know, and you know things change, you know. And, so what are you working on right now? I know you're jamming with a couple of guys right now. What are you working on right now?
I'm working with these guys. I just we're on a hiatus doing our thing and stuff, and reached out to these guys and just got some material, and I'm just kind of working out with some stuff. Nothing's like set names, nothing. Just they have some material. We're just working on it.
Okay.
So it's some good, yeah.
Cool. All right. How's the new cat doing?
Julian, he actually hangs out all the time.
Chilling?
So basically, real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and move this camera, and I'll do it kind of slow because I know there's a latency.
So all my friends are animal lovers, and Nick got a new cat recently, and so I've been hanging out with Julian.
Yeah. So here's my little jam area right here. This is my little guitar place. And
there he goes.
Just cruising by, hanging out. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Right.
No, but whenever I come up here and start, he just comes and hangs out. He loves the music. He loves he's a good cat.
Daisy. Nope. Seems here's just dreaming.
Oh, you know what? No response is better than a bad response, so I take it as a great response.
Right.
Right, Days? I love Days.
Oh, that's comedy. All right, you guys. So, a couple of things about this week, about the listening room. So, every weeknight at 6:30 right here on youtube.com/EddieBooze, you guys can tune into the listening room every weeknight at 6:30 right here. And then tonight, every Tuesday and every Thursday, we're also doing live music right here, starting either at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And it's going to be tonight. I'm going to be doing Human Jukebox, 7:30 right here on this channel. So tune in, choose a song. I'll play what you guys want me to play. And then after that, I'm going to go eat some dinner over at Nick's place. And this Thursday, join me for, I'm going to have Dave Burns back in the house, Mr. Burns, the banjo man. I'm also going to have Robert Kaiser's on the fiddle as well. So we're going to have a couple of different cats this Thursday night, 7:30 as well. That might start a little later, might start at 8 o'clock. And this Friday night, I'm going to have in studio Mr. Robbie Ravenwood. We're going to be showing a couple of his tunes. So make sure you tune in throughout the week, you guys. Tune in tonight. Tune in Thursday night for some live music. I will see you guys later. Nick, my man, I love you. Wonderful to see you today. Tell Melly I said hello. Give Julian a little pet for me, and I'll see you in a little while. Everyone else, thank you all. Love you all. Thanks for joining me in the listening room. I'm Eddie Booze.